everyone. My name is Russell Fink, and this masterclass is about television and over-the-top networks and how they make their money. We're going to do a brief overview on basically the main revenue streams on how television and OTT generate their revenue and their profits. So who am I? I am currently an adjunct professor at Fordham's Gabelli Graduate School of Business. I've been in the media industry for just a little bit over 20 years now. I started my career after graduating from NYU Film School. I started in TV and film production. I worked on movies like Coyote Ugly, Bringing Out the Dead, TV shows like Road Rules. I worked with MTV, Comedy Central. I decided to go back for my business degree, went to Fordham. I am a Fordham Graduate Business School alum. I went into TV programming, worked at Court TV, A&E, Showtime, and then I've spent over the last decade in sports TV as a director of programming for Sportsnet New York, where I deal in programming, scheduling, acquisitions, as well as lead our research team. To give a little outline of what we'll be covering today, so TV really is at a crossroads right now between traditional TV and over-the-top television and the many changes happening every single day in TV. There's really a lot to cover when it comes to television and how it makes its money. Today we'll go over traditional TV and the various elements, whether it's broadcast television, cable television, the dual revenue stream, and pay-per-view. We'll also cover over-the-top television, which is more your Netflix and Hulu, and its single revenue stream based solely on subscribers. And then we'll end a little bit with where the future lies in TV and some main questions that are on everyone's minds when we think of the future of television and how it makes its money. Okay, so the first question, how does television make its money? We know there are lots of forms of media available out there right now, but for this masterclass, we're going to focus on television and OTT. When we focus on those two, there are a few different avenues for distribution and for revenue when it comes to these two forms of media. And we're going to go through each one of them step by step. The first part of TV are the broadcast networks. These are traditionally the quote-unquote free networks. These include ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC. These are the ones that have the biggest reach all 120 million Nielsen homes. And although they've been on the decline recently and continue to decline as over-the-top networks continue to grow, these are the ones to make up for those shortfalls. They have started to charge retransmission fees. These are similar to subscriber fees. They are charging cable and satellite providers retransmission fees. And of course, the other one is advertising. Again, broadcast TV continues to decline, but because they have such a wide reach, advertising is still a big portion of how they make their revenue. Next are your cable networks. Although they may not have as much reach as broadcast, on a whole scale, they have a much higher total share. And also, the programming is a lot more focused than the broadcast. Cable networks have two main sources of revenue. The first are the subscriber fees. When you pay for your TV bill or cable bill, you are paying a portion of that will go to each individual network as part of their revenue. And the second, similar to broadcast, is advertising. The difference between advertising for cable and broadcast is in cable, you can have a much more focused and targeted demographics, meaning if you go for a food network or a youth network or a certain gender or certain age, you can save money on the rates you'll have to pay and also have a much more focused advertising sales plan when talking about cable networks. Now, it is important to remember that the large majority of television is based on a dual revenue stream, meaning that there are two different ways they can generate their revenue and profit. The first is the subscribers. Every time you pay your cable bill, a small portion of that payment is going to different networks. There will be different payments to each network. It could be as low as 10 cents, as high as $5. 10 cents may not seem like a lot of money, but if you take 10 cents times 85 million households times 12 months a year, that could generate a lot of revenue. Now, these subscriber fees account for anywhere between 60 to 80% of a cable network's revenue, the rest going to advertising. So when we hear about cable's declining subscription rates, it has a huge impact to the bottom line, being that those cable subscribers are the large majority of their revenue. Although there are many other ways television makes portions of their revenue, one worth mentioning is the pay-per-view. This is the big event programming. What happens is there is a big event, a big programming initiative, primarily in sports, and you pay a high one-time cost to watch that event. Again, mainly in sports, but there are also concerts and other big-time pay-per-view events that happen. As we look at the over-the-top world and how they make their revenue, this is more of a single revenue stream. What this has done is it's taken different elements of traditional TV and kind of applied them to the over-the-top offerings. It kind of follows a television premium model. You're similar to HBO or Showtime. There's no advertising, but you pay a higher price. Where we talk about networks in broadcast and cable costing as little as 10 cents, what a Netflix, a Hulu, and Amazon Prime, they could cost you anywhere between $5 and $20 a month, but you end up with no advertising and you have access to all of their content. As we get into the more specific OTTs, whether it's Netflix for $16, Disney Plus for $7, Amazon $10, Quibi $5, and so on and so forth, we see that they charge you this monthly subscriber fee. You're paying those higher costs, but you're paying those costs for no commercials and the large offerings they provide. And what we've seen is now that the traditional TV networks are becoming OTTs or starting to combine each other, where you have HBO and HBO Max, or NBC and Peacock, where either you're paying for both services, one may be an added value, or you're cord cutting on one and adding on another. We're starting to see this kind of combination of television and OTT while they're trying to serve the customers the best, while of course trying to make that bottom line seem a little better. And when we look towards the future of TV, when we look at traditional TV, will we see the subscribers still decline? I think so. And what will traditional networks do to adapt? Will we see more combinations of traditional and OTT, like HBO, HBO Max, and NBC and Peacock? And when it comes to OTT and over the top, will we see a continual growth? Will we see some of these traditional business models affect OTT, like bundling? We started to see the Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN and others. And also, will we see a modification of the programming strategy? Will we see more live TV, more live programming, and possibly advertising? Who knows? Only time will tell. Anyway, again, my name is Russell Fink. Thank you so much for joining me for this masterclass. Take care.